Welcome to Adam Does Movies Live. Another Tuesday stream coming at you hot, coming at you fresh, coming at you wild. It's going to be a good one. We're going to be talking Blumhouse movies, at least the ones I've seen. And by Blumhouse, I mean, of course, the scary films. We're in October. It's Halloween time. And I have a fresh Coke in my hand and I think a bit of a smile on my face, a little pep in my step. Finally got a haircut. It was about 3 months in the making. My son and I went. It was a glorious experience. Got about 4 pounds shaved off the top of my noggin. It was a good time. Hope everyone's doing well. We were getting kind of spoiled a few days ago. I did 3 live streams back to back to back. I was building a Lego set. If you're listening and watching, you can see it behind me over there. The camera, I'm trying to point to it, that Disney camera. I could go grab it, but I'm not going to. You can watch those live streams. They're available. I built that bad boy in 3 different sessions, and I was responding to all the questions coming in. But as you know, at this point, I would hope, super chats are how this channel thrives, why I continue to do live streams. And if I don't have super chats coming in, it gives me less motivation to spend my nights doing these live streams. So if you have a question, if you have a Blumhouse movie you want to throw out there, please super chat me, because it's the only thing I'm going to see on these episodes that are me building Legos. With that said, let's get into a little bit of housekeeping. The live stream today, we have a couple things to talk about before I get into the main event. Number one, I posted a couple hours ago a video about the 30th anniversary of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah, that movie has been out for 30 freaking years. 1993 cinematic darling. I hate that film. I remember seeing it in theaters because I'm young. And it was atrocious. I didn't like it. As a kid who's very open to liking pretty much everything. As an adult, I don't like it anymore, but it has a cult following. There's a appreciation for the Mario movie in the form that it's in. And I put out a video that's basically just an introduction to Tony from Hack the Movies. A lot of you know who he is at this point from my channel, but if you don't, I highly suggest you go over and subscribe to his channel. That's basically what I did with the video. It's just an opening act, and then I just show a 15-minute video of Tony talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's just straight up taken from his channel. He gave me permission, and I thought this was a great way to do a creator spotlight on someone else. So you get to see firsthand what his content's like. And if you want to go over there and subscribe, that's up to you. He's going to be doing the same thing tomorrow on his channel. He's going to be showcasing one of my movie roasts. I believe it's going to be the Street Fighter one. He thought that would do the best on his channel. So hopefully I get some subs coming my way. And if this works out and people like it, maybe once a month or once every couple months, I showcase a creator in the hopes they will too, return the favor. I've had some problems with people coming onto my show and then I don't get anything in return outside of their presence, which, as great as some of them are, it would be nice if I could go onto their channels, because that's how you actually grow, is the collaboration, the cross-platform, conversions. Okay, so look at that Mario movie if you want, that video. We have a pool update. People are excited about this. I know they've been wondering, Adam, what's going on with the neighbor? How is the pool coming along? Well, very slowly. It's not going swimmingly. You could add to that. We have a slide going in. This was teased earlier by him. He said it was going to come in next summer, but I guess the funds came through or whatever he worked out. There's a rock slide coming in. It's an eyesore. It looks atrocious. I'm not happy. There's still no fence to be found. We are at the end of October. This pool project was supposed to be done at the end of October. I don't see it happening even in November at the pace they're going at. There's no cement slab down. There's no fence. The slide is a disaster in the making. I don't know what's happening with the pool, but it's a dicey situation, and it's one that I don't want to have anything to do with. Also, the side of my yard is completely tore up because the trucks and stuff have to get back there. No patio being used during the nicest time of the year here in South Carolina. It's in the 70s. It's beautiful, and it's a shame. It's a downright shame. No further progress on my movie script, which is unfortunate. I was really hoping to have dove into it further. I'm still sitting at like 28 minutes on the script. I've actually gone backwards on the time. I have 28 minutes of concrete script done for my movie. Hopefully in the next few days I can edge off some time, but between doing this and between my actual job and my family, there's just not a lot of time. As you get older, it turns out you have less time. Maybe when I'm a grandpa, I can get a script done. All right, the next movie roast is going to be hopefully Thursday. I reached out to an awesome Patreon at the unobtainium level because he was due something. He pledged at the highest tier on Patreon and said, I don't want anything from you. Here's a full year's amount of salary. Go forth and continue making stuff. And I'm like, no. At that amount, you can at least get something. So he chose the Human Centipede. That's going to be the roast, which I hope to get done by this Thursday. We'll see if everything lines up. And then, of course, I'll have a review for Five Nights at Freddy's at the end of the week. That's what you have to look forward to on the channel, along with another Friday night live stream, as long as people are tuning in and having a good time. All right, main event. Let's go. What we have here is a list of 20 or 23, I don't actually know where I ended up with this thing, Blumhouse movies. These are the ones I've seen and I've ranked them. There are around 100 scary Blumhouse films. I have not seen Ouija or Ouija 2. I haven't seen half of the Purge movies. A lot of these are either more indie films I didn't see, or they're sequels to movies that I knew wouldn't be very good. I kind of, pick and chose the ones that I went to when they came out. I wasn't full-time reviewing movies every single week. Now, everything new I pretty much see, outside of one that I heard was really good called, I think it's Totally Killer, which is a Back to the Future-esque slasher movie. Sounds intriguing, sounds fun. I will try to get to that soon. I did finish a TV miniseries, which I don't really review TV shows anymore. I have to pick a lane and go with it, so I'm just going movies. What was it called? The Fall of the House of Usher. Again, not based on the pop sensation Usher. This is by the same guy that did the hell did he do? Midnight Mass, which I really enjoyed. He did the Haunting of Hill House or something. I didn't see that one. My wife really liked that. I dug this more than my wife certainly did. If it was up to her, we would have fast forwarded huge amounts of the film. I don't fast forward shit. This is 8 episodes. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Yeah, at times it was a little bit pandering. It definitely, in the last episode, it went a weird direction I wasn't expecting. Not bad by any means. And I certainly had a good time on the ride. So I would recommend it if you like this guy's work. I'm spacing on the name of the director, but he did those other things. All right. Anyway, Ma Sucks. This is last on my Blumhouse list. This is a terrible film that wastes Octavia Spencer, who I love. she's just useless in this. She's supposed to be this creepy, you know, grandma figure down the street that's having the kids come over and party in their basement, and then things are going to get bad. They're going to escalate. But this movie takes the entire time before anything really happens. And by the time Ma's unleashed, I just don't give a shit. And it's not exciting. And there is nothing scary at all about a heavy set black woman that looks like Octavia Spencer. She's like the nicest looking lady I know. What is she going to do? Hobble down the stairs after these young teenagers who are very fit and in their prime? Oh no, Ma's coming. Hang on, whippersnappers. I was in the help, damn it. You should respect me. Yeah, no, I don't respect this film. It was ass. Actually, this is worse, but because I'm sorting this by 1-star movies. Really, it's just taster's choice on the order it goes in. But this movie is garbage. I'm talking about Firestarter, a remake. Is this a Stephen King film? I think it's based on a Stephen King book. If not, I'll just guess it is. I'll probably be safe. He's written everything. Firestarter 2022, directed by Keith Thomas. I'm not sure what he's done before. Probably shouldn't do anything ever again because this is a shitty movie. The cinematography looks like it's just the raw footage that was never taken through any sort of color correction. It's so flat. The film looks like it's the stock digital footage and nothing has been done to it. It's like if you film something off your iPhone and then don't bother to bump the contrast or do anything to it. That's what Firestarter is. On top of visually looking like a puddle of mud, it's got a lame soundtrack. It doesn't have any decent action in it. The plot is riddled with inconsistencies and holes. There's just nothing here that's good. I hated this movie. I wanted to start myself on fire before finishing it. Is that a little bit much? Yeah, that's a lot much, but that's okay. Oh, God. Take a drink of water. Forever Purge. I don't know where we're at in the Purge saga when we get to the Forever Purge. I just know I don't want any more of them. These must do well enough to justify making more. They must cost, I wouldn't imagine, any more than like a few $1,000s to make at this point. This is a really cheap looking movie shot in, I think it's at the Mexican, it's in Texas, I think, or it's in Mexico for some of it. I didn't finish the movie. It was so bad. And the only reason I put this above Ma and Firestarter is because I had the option to shut this off. I saw Ma and Firestarter in theaters, and I wasn't going to leave. I don't ever leave the movie theater. That's too much for me. I will sit and stew and be miserable until the movie is done. All the rules are broken as a sect of lawless marauders decides that the annual purge does not stop at daybreak and instead should never end. This one's got racism in it. That's right. They went woke, as they say, with the purge. People say that anymore? Are we past that phrase? God, I hope so. Purge is just garbage. Speaking of, saw this one in the theaters, Insidious the Red Door. The fourth, I believe, installment to the Insidious franchise. There's Insidious, Insidious 2, Insidious the Skeleton Key, or something. I honestly thought this was the second movie. I didn't know they had a bunch of them in between. It might as well be the second movie because it feels like it's a direct sequel, years and years later, but there's flashbacks, there's references to the old ones. And really, it's just a harsh reminder that the first Insidious is at least a pretty decent time at the movies, whereas this one is just a slog to get through. A lot of it takes place at art school, where we get to see the young college kid, painting canvases. He's really using the charcoal well. I was impressed with the charcoal. Wasn't impressed with the scares or lack thereof. The most complexing part of this, the most confounding part, it takes place at a college and they do nothing with that setting at all. There's only one scene that's quote unquote scary that takes place at a frat house. but there's nobody there. It's just the two leads and then one douchey kid, and that's it. Why did you not play off the college thing? Uh, Miserable. Miserable film. Not much better is Purge. Listen, concept's fine. I don't hate. I guess I only gave it 2 stars. Maybe it deserves 2.5. I got through it, and I thought conceptually it was kind of fun. Hunger Games in a real world setting where everybody is pretty happy. You know, the war's down, crime is down, but we still have those animal needs. We still have that tendency to hunt and gather. So once a year, we have the purge where people get to go out and play, pillage, plunder, do any unspeakable act they want. So if you're not locked away in your house, it's game on. And in fact, even if you're locked in your house, it seems like it's game on because this poor family is going to get a pretty bad stay. They're going to have a pretty bad. They should have gone to the Days Inn down the road. They shouldn't have been at their house is the bottom line. This shouldn't be up high. Like, oh yeah, this is worst to best. Obviously, I don't know if I said that or not. This is worst to best. This is going to be an audio format as well. I apologize to the audio listeners if you're confused. These are the worst movies, and we'll end with my favorite of the Blumhouse movies I've seen. We do have a first super chat shot out of a cannon. Kyle Nelson for $5. Happy Death Day is one of our family's favorite horror movies. It's funny, has hot chicks, and even a ridiculous time travel sci-fi plot. Part 2 is meh. I was actually just talking about Happy Death Day earlier today with a buddy, and he did say the same thing. He said the second part's kind of crappy. And that's where I stand with Paranormal Activity 2. I genuinely don't remember this movie. I know I saw it. I remember nothing from it. That's why it's lower on my list. Let's read the synopsis. Maybe it'll come back to me. Days after welcoming a newborn baby, Dan and Christy Ray return home one day to find their house ransacked with seemingly no explanation. Their fear forces them to put in security cameras, which begin to capture strange activity around the house. Paranormal activity, you could say. I don't remember anything about this film. I might not have even seen it, although I did rate it, so I guess I did. This might have been the one I went to theaters and watched, and there was a baby brought to the theater. I feel like this was a midnight showing or a really late showing, and some fucking woman brought her little baby in, and the thing was crying hysterically because, it's a baby, and she brought it to a public theater in the middle of the freaking night. Do some parenting, my God. The Black Phone 2021. Just a couple years ago, we saw this gem. This has Ethan Hawke is the villain in this. Although, yeah, he's in it. I wish he was in it more. I wish we got more with that character. The Black Phone. Finney Shaw, a shy but clever 13-year-old boy, is abducted by a sadistic killer and trapped in a soundproof basement where screaming is of little use. This movie was both intriguing, entertaining, and frustrating as all hell. I know these are young kids. I know it's hard for them to, be in a situation like this. But our boy Finn, he's very determined. He's very capable. And some of the stuff he does just makes me scratch my head. Like at one point, he puts a carpet up on the side of a wall, climbs up into a window, opens the window, starts screaming out it. But we see that he can actually get out the window. Well, the carpet falls down and it's game over. Is it though? The carpet didn't burst into flames, Finn, you fucking idiot. Put the carpet back up and do it again. The guy's just sitting upstairs in a chair. Ethan Hawke's just hanging out up top, He's not doing anything. You got all the time in the world. His sister was really cool. She had kind of a weird paranormal psychiatric thing. I don't know what was going on with her. But I liked the little girl. She did a good job. The bullies in this movie are out of control. Around this, the last couple of years, bullies have gotten so extreme and comical. It's not even funny. It's like people that write the movies in modern times in the 2020 and beyond think, how were bullies in the 80s and 90s? they were really vicious, right? They were like smashing rocks into kids' heads and chasing them off the bus and throwing them through electric fences. I grew up in that time. Granted, I was in a pretty safe environment, but I don't think it was anything like some of these movies portray it. It's really hardcore what some of this white on white crime is happening in these suburban areas. It's really sad. It's really sad. The Black Phone was decent. 3 stars I gave it out of 5. All right, Exorcist Believer. Exorcist Belieber. If you're a Justin Bieber fan, I'm sure everybody said that lame joke. David Gordon Green is back, baby. Fresh off of ruining the Halloween franchise. Now, well, yes, for some people, he ruined the Halloween franchises. For me, I'm a little bit more, I'm a little bit softer, I guess, in that regard, which might be kind of crazy for some people to think if they know me at all. My tastes and my criticisms can be pretty harsh. But Exorcist Believer was mediocre at best. I didn't think it was an insulting disaster that a lot of people did. I didn't think it was a laughably awful film. I just thought it was awfully mediocre. I think the first half is notably stronger than the second. Once the exorcisms start, the girls are just kind of annoying brats. I didn't find them scary at all. I just was like, they either kill these little kids or save them. You know, do something. I'm sick of this. Just an overall kind of lame first introduction to what is supposed to be a new trilogy, because that's, I guess, what we do, David Gordon Green. We make trilogies. Maybe focus on making one really good movie, and then if you can, go further with it. I would prefer that, because as it stands, Exorcist Believer seems like a movie that they soft pitched. They kicked the can down the road to a movie that will be much better in the future. And that's not something I'm interested in. I want a movie that's going to be captivating now, not next year. Kyle Nelson's back. He's kind of yelling from the mountaintops by himself, like, hello, people, send some super chats. Let's get this party going. But thank you, Kyle. $2. The bullies in Halloween Ends are band nerds. Remember the bullies at the beginning? Oh, man. The bullies at the beginning of It Chapter 2, the modern version, are insanely intense. They just beat the living shit out of that gay guy outside. I thought, oh, my God, these guys are way more hardcore than freaking Pennywise even. Pennywise was going to kill those guys, and he's like, wow, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. He went back into his sewer. He's like, okay, I guess you guys got it figured out. Bye. You're all gonna float down here. Perm's in the mix. Here's the cries for some super chats with the $5 beautiful, powerful one. Sup, Adam. Hair looks good. On fleek, you could say, if this was 2012. Is the new Nick Cage movie supposed to be scary? I can't tell. Dream Scenario still is a must-see for me because Nick Cage. Okay. Is Dream Scenario a movie? I don't even... Dream. Let me look it up. Dream Scenario. Scenario. Pick your poison. I don't even know what this is. A hapless family man finds his life turned upside down. Fresh Prince style. We've been there. When millions of strangers suddenly start seeing him in their dreams. Oh. When his nightmare appearance takes a nightmarish turn, Paul is forced to navigate his newfound stardom. All right, well, that certainly sounds like a movie. Sounds like a Cage movie. Nicolas Cage is very hit and miss, but you're always going to get full Cage, and that's all that we can hope for. Thank you, Perm. Paranormal Activity 3 in 1988. An entity begins to terrorize young sisters Katie and Christy in this prequel to the Paranormal Activity series. Now, this one I do remember and I did enjoy. It does some really cool stuff with the found footage style. You have in-house cameras. There's a scene where the camera pans over because, you know, it's one of those motion ones. And there's a ghost creeping along in the kitchen. It sits down in a chair and that camera just sits on it. Camera pans away again. Really ratchets up that tension because you know the camera's going to have to swing back. What's the ghost going to be doing? And oh, the ghost is gone. And then back and oh, the ghost is over there. Does a lot of fun things this time around. I enjoyed Paranormal Activity 3. It's my favorite of the franchise, but I think there's probably 15 of them, and I stopped at 3. This is unfair, but again, because I sorted by letterbox rating system, it put Paranormal Activity above Paranormal Activity 3 on this list. They're both at 3 stars by me. That might be disingenuous too. I should probably put Paranormal Activity 3 at a 3.5, maybe even push 4 stars. Paranormal Activity 2007 is very mediocre to me. I only appreciate it because it did something new with the genre. Obviously, it's playing off of Blair Witch Project with the found footage style, but I think they do it a lot more competently in Paranormal. And I found it to be scarier when you have a couple being haunted by a demon, and a lot of these shots are just taking place in the boudoir, in the bedroom, the boudoir. I can't say that word. Boudoir, French for bedroom. Sophisticated for bedroom. Fancy for bedroom. Speaking of fancy, Christian Thacker with the $1.99 gorgeous super chat. Thank you, Christian, or Chris. We could go with Chris if we want. Hey, Adam. Never been a fan of found footage films. Never been a fan, I said. Never been a fan of found footage films. Let me take a drink of Coke. Clearly, I need it. You don't like Cloverfield, Christian? Not a fan of Cloverfield, Christian? Maybe you should give it a chance. I hear you. I hear. What about Chronicle? Most people like Chronicle. Next on the list. Oh wait, we got one more super chat. Kyle again. Kyle Nelson with another $2. He's kind of the hero today of this super chat stream we got going. Megan was awesome. I don't care how dumb it was. All right, Kyle. We'll see if I'm in agreement. You'll notice it's yet to be presented on my list. And yes, it is a Blumhouse movie. Insidious 2010. James Wan of Saw fame, or Aquaman fame, if you will. He's got his sequel to Aquaman coming out this Christmas, I believe. Show of hands, who's excited? Anyone? Anyone? No takers. Insidious. A family discovers that dark spirits have invaded their home after their son inexplicably falls into an endless sleep. When they reach out to a professional for help, they learn things are a lot more personal than they thought. Rose Byrne, Patrick Wilson, Lynn Shay. I don't know. Who's the one that plays the older lady? I like the older lady. I think she's also in Kingpin. She's the gross landlord in Kingpin. That might be the same person. Do I dare click? Lynn Shay. It is Lynn Shay. Is she in? Yep, she is the landlord in Kingpin. She's in Me, Myself, and Irene, and Dumb and Dumber, and Something About Mary. So she's a Farley Brothers staple because they did all those movies. Wow. I did not realize that. She's the best part of Insidious. She's the whole, this house is clean type of a woman, a spiritual consult. She can reach out to the other side, speak to the demons. Love her. I thought it was hilarious how they'd always find ways to shoehorn her into this Insidious sequels. Insidious 1's solid. It's a solid movie. It's not amazing by any means. It gets the job done. I think what hurts it is when we finally go into the demon world and I see Darth Maul demon. He legitimately looks just like Darth Maul, but a little more evil. But he's not scary, and I found it kind of silly. And that really took out the wind in my sails. Here you go. Megan, 2022, 3.5 out of 5 stars I gave it. I could maybe push 4. A brilliant toy company, robot. I don't need to read the synopsis of this. Plus, I can't read that word. Roboticist. It's a weird word. Basically, it's Chucky for a modern era using AI, which is funny because there was a Chucky movie, or Child's Play, I guess is the proper name. There was a Child's Play movie a few years back that used the same concept, but did it much, much worse. Instead of an evil soul inside of Chucky, it was just evil AI. Lame. Megan's fun, though. It really is fun. The only thing that holds this movie back for me, and it does hold it back quite a bit, is the PG-13 rating. I think a hard R on this would have gone a long way. Seeing this creepy little doll really viciously murder people was something I think I needed in my life, and I unfortunately didn't get. Now, tread lightly if you're thinking, oh, Adam, they actually released an R-rated version, Megan 2.0. No. That's the biggest marketing bullshit thing I've seen in, I think, maybe ever. There's a couple shots, not scenes, a couple extended shots in the movie. We're talking like 3 that have a little bit more blood. It's terrible. I watched it on, I think it was on Peacock or something, and I was all excited. I'm like, oh, we're going to get a more hardcore version of this movie. No, it's the same damn movie. Blink and you miss anything extra. Megan's good though. I love the play on, the take on kind of the TikTok world we're in right now, which is miserable, and I'm disgusted that I even said that. But with the dance scene, with the catchphrases, with the singing, very, very fun movie. Definitely playing off a lot of the tropes in the real world, and it does it very well. I'm excited for the sequel. Hopefully they make it rated R. And I agree with you, Kyle. Megan's awesome. Kyle Nelson, $2. Tony from Hack the Movies can't say Mario. Oh, I know. Yeah, what does he say? Mario? It's bizarre. I think he's from New Jersey. Must be it's a Jersey thing. I don't do accents. And to be fair, being from Minnesota almost all my life, I can't say shit. So there is that. It's me, Mario. Sinister. This one's genuinely a pretty freaky movie. Found footage helps a true crime novelist realize how and why a family was murdered in his new home. Yeah. This has been on a lot of lists over the years for like scariest movies of all time. And I don't disagree. I don't get that scared about movies in general because I've seen so many and I kind of know what they're doing. And, I go into the technical side of it more than anything else. But I do like to get lost in a movie, and Sinister has a really great vibe to it. It has a good look to it. It is sinister. It's very dark. It's lit very well. There's just enough so you can see what's around the riverbend, Pocahontas, where you can see some of the shadows bouncing off that room. The found footage stuff is blended in with modern, like practical cinematography. It's not all found footage. So they really use it well in this because he's looking at all these disgusting, depraved things off of a slideshow, off of a old projector. Is this Ethan Hawke again? Yeah, we got Ethan Hawke a couple times by Blumhouse doing the whole freaky thing. Ethan Hawke's nothing great in this. He's kind of just an everyman dude, but he's there. He does what he can. Here we go. Happy Death Day. We talked about it earlier. Another 3.5 star out of 5 stars. You'll notice I don't give like a lot of 4 and 5 stars for the horror genre in general. Isn't my bread and butter. I don't pretend like, oh, I love horror movies so much. I love slashers. I think that a lot of them are fine, and that's okay. Fine movies can be good. I really enjoyed Happy Death Day. Maybe I'd enjoy it more upon rewatch even. I probably would, and I bumped that to a 4-star or something, but a 3.5 for me is a good movie. And I think ratings are kind of dumb. The only reason I do these ratings on Letterboxd is because I can sort easier that way, and then it still screws me up. Caught in a bizarre and terrifying time warp, college student, is it Tree? That's her name? College student Tree finds herself repeatedly reliving the day of her murder. Was she named by Gwyneth Paltrow? Sister's Apple? Because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The killer, ultimately realizing that she must identify the killer and the reason for her death before her chances of survival run out. Yeah, it's Groundhog's Day meets Scream. There's a killer out on the loose. It's going after her. She has to figure out who's behind it in order to break the cycle or die in the process trying. Very cool concept. Good-looking actress, good-looking cinematography. It's pretty much a win all around. I don't have any complaints outside of I'm just not, this isn't the genre that I love more than anything else. We should probably, let's bump this to a 4. This might screw up the rest of my list, But thinking back on this movie, I don't really have any complaints about it. We can maybe put Megan at a 4 too. Why don't we put Megan at a 4 as well? That seems more fair. Yeah, and that kind of pushes these ones down a little bit. All right, this is going to be controversial. And you know what? This is not in the right order either. This one should actually be first. Oh my god, this order is completely fucked. Guys, this order is fucked. Halloween Kills should be below Megan, and it should be below Happy Death Day and Sinister. I don't know how it got where it got. I think I forgot to change some of the ratings. All right, I'm not. Halloween Kills is dumb as shit. This is the problem I have with Halloween Kills. I really like Halloween. And I'm not talking about the original. I love the original, but I also really like the David Gordon Green 2018 sequel, which is also called Halloween. I thought it was smart for the most part. I thought it had a great amount of gore. It had some great plays off the original without being too schlocky and cheesy. Jamie Lee Curtis was back and she was great. And then Halloween Kills is just fucking dumb all the way through. The townspeople are ridiculous. Evil dies tonight gets chanted over and over. You get frustrated by how pathetically stupid these guys are. And freaking Michael's just going around on a slaughter fest, which I loved. I did. And so I'm like torn. Part of me loves this movie because Michael Myers is just vicious in it. He is killing everyone. And another part of me hates this movie because I'm rooting for Michael Myers to kill all of these dumbasses because they're so stupid. But the movie's entertaining and I can rewatch it. And so I enjoy it more than I hate it. Halloween Kills is definitely... Oh, something's happening here. Something on Letterboxd didn't like what I did. Halloween Ends is our classic subversion of expectations. This is a movie that a lot of people hate. I didn't go to the right one. What? Why didn't it switch? Okay, well, there it is. A lot of people hate this movie. I do not hate this movie. I enjoy it. And again, kind of like Halloween Kills, I scratch my head at some of the decisions they make because it doesn't really follow Michael Myers this time. It follows a completely new character who wasn't introduced in the prior two movies of this new trilogy. Why? Why not set this kid up at least? Give him some small bit role in the first film. Make it a little bit more fleshed out in the sequel. So by the time we get to the third one, we have this earned story that really takes center stage. They didn't do that. And so a lot of people were pissed. They're like, who the fuck is this dude? Why is he taking over the whole movie? Genuinely, half of this film is about another character that's not Michael Myers or Jamie Lee Curtis's character. It's just no Laurie Strode is in it, at least more than she's in Halloween Kills, but not a whole lot more until the end. And it's really that last 30 minutes that people signed up for, the Laurie Strode versus Michael confrontation. All that said, I kind of dug all the stuff they did with this, and I really thought some of the ideas introduced were cool. How there was this darkness, and they called the shadow? Is that what it's called? The shadow? I think it's called the shadow, as they refer to Michael Myers once in a while. It's this entity, it's this demon, this evil presence that can transfer power. It can leave when it feels like it's taken enough from its current inhabitant. And I thought that was really well thought out. I like how they played off of it. And there's some good symbolism in the movie. And there's some good nods and some good, I'm trying to think of some good foreshadowing. There's some great foreshadowing in this film. And I could go into detail, but we got things to talk about. And I actually do, I think, talk about it in my review or my spoiler review. In one of them, I do. So you feel free to watch that or go back and see why I actually like this movie like I do. But yeah, not bad. The Visit. Cards on the Table. I have not seen this movie. This is an M. Night Shyamalan film. I think it's the only M. Night movie I haven't seen. I put it on here because my wife and daughter saw it and they really enjoyed it and they thought it was scary. All I know is there's some old people and there's some kids. And I'm guessing based on the trailer that the old people are aliens or something. I don't know what the twist is in this movie. Maybe there's not a twist. Again, I haven't seen it, but based on the trailers, I was just thinking, okay, they're clearly not the grandparents of these kids. Maybe that's known when the movie starts. I haven't asked my family. I just know they liked it. So I put it on here, little representation of my wife and daughter. 2018's Halloween. I already talked about it. I don't need to say anything else. Really great film. I thought it was handled expertly. I love the cinematography in this. I love the use of music in this. It's violent, it's vicious. Michael feels like a real threat in this thing. I like some of the psychology behind it, especially at the beginning when the podcasters want Michael to turn around and he refuses to. Yeah, I thought they handled it really well for his return. Okay. 2016, we have Split, another M. Night vehicle. And this one, man, 23 distinct personalities. Is it James McAvoy? I just feel like you say his name wrong. James McAvoy is in this. He's the main character, and man, he's acting his heart out. Professor X is doing it. Then you have Anya Taylor-Joy as this prisoner, and she's got to figure out how to get away from this psychotic freak show, who by the end of the movie we'll find out can kind of metamorphosize into this horribly hardcore creature human hybrid. He can climb on the walls. He's super strong. He's a force to be reckoned with. And who better to reckon with him than Bruce Willis from Unbreakable? The weirdest twist that I don't know how anyone could see coming was that Split is actually part of the same universe as Unbreakable. So then this teases to the M. Night Shyamalan Split verse, Unbreakable verse, where we have Glass, the shittiest movie sequel ever. Maybe not ever. That's way too harsh, but it sucked. Glass was terrible. But let's push that away. Glass isn't part of this conversation, and I've ranted about Glass in videos. That might be exclusive. There's a Glass rant that's pretty epic, and I'm pretty sure it's exclusive to Patreon and YouTube join members. If you're not a Patreon member at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies, you should become a patron. There's a $1 tier. There's a $5, a $10. They give you access, even at the entry level, you get access to 300 exclusive videos. And I'm pretty sure one of them in one of those playlists is me bitching about Split for quite a long time. Same with YouTube join. If you just click YouTube, if you just click the join button somewhere by this video, you can become a member, and that video is available. Split is a great movie, though. And man, James McAvoy really, really selling it. This is one of the few times, say what you will about M. Night Shyamalan, I like him more than I hate him, even though he has maybe more misses than hits for me. The guy's not good at directing actors. It's always been his low point. But for some reason, and I don't know if it's just James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy being great, he nails it in this. The stakes, the character choices, the way they interact with each other is all well done. Getting down there. I like this movie maybe more than a lot of people. I'm not sure what the consensus is on The Invisible Man. Obviously a play off of one of the old Universal characters. This is it's almost more of a thriller than it is a horror movie, because the stakes are really intense. I'm constantly on the edge of my seat watching this movie, and I know it's a cliche phrase, but I was literally like pushed forward watching this movie. I was tense as shit because this asshole is in the room with Elizabeth Moss's character, but you don't know where he's at unless he makes himself known. And she knows he's in the room, and that's what makes the movie so good, is she'll be having dinner with a friend, and she's just freaking in shambles. Her hair is a mess. Not that Elizabeth Moss usually plays characters that are any more than complete shit shows, but here, I mean, absolutely unspooled in this movie. There's even a cool like to kind of add some flavor to this, not only is it a psychological thriller and downright creepy at times, there's also a badass John Wick style hallway fight out of nowhere, kind of, where the Invisible Man's just taking out all these guards. It looks sweet. It's very well filmed. I dug this movie a lot. If you haven't seen it, give it a shot. It's probably free somewhere to stream. All right, we are at my number one on the list. Folks, there's a lot of Blumhouse movies that I haven't seen. Now's the time to throw in super chats. Okay? Throw a super chat in. Let me know your favorite Blumhouse movie, or if you agree with mine, or if you just want to ask me any movie-related questions. I'm going to talk about Get Out briefly, and then I'll get out of this live stream. All right, Jordan Peele. This was his first big jump into the horror space. Jordan Peele, Key and Peele fame, those guys are so freaking funny. I've recently been watching a ton of their older clips. It is kind of cool seeing how many of their skits do have a horror element to it, because he's really good at this. I'm sure a lot of people weren't expecting. I know I wasn't expecting freaking Jordan Peele to come out with a horror film. You'd expect him to come out with something like Dodgeball or, a comedy, but no, he went all in the genre, and this is a freaking ingenious first step. He then came out with Us, which I didn't think was near as good, but it's still a good movie. And then Nope, which I think I might like more than even Get Out, but it's not a Blumhouse movie, to my knowledge. All right, Chris and his girlfriend Rose go upstate to visit her parents for the weekend. At first, Chris reads the family's overly accommodating. Wait, did I read that right? Chris reads the family's overly accommodating behavior as nervous attempts to deal with their daughter's interracial relationship. But as the weekend progresses, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries lead him to a truth that never could have imagined. Basically, what's going on is we have modern day slavery, where black gentlemen are coming over to these fancy, rich, upstate houses. They're getting brainwashed, or they're getting hypnotized, I guess, and they're put in this deep trance, which takes them into this empty void that they can't get out of. Hence the name Get Out. The visuals are awesome on this. It's like he's swimming underwater, but he can't get anywhere. He's just completely trapped, able to see through his own eyes at the horrors unfolding above, but he is unable. He's helpless to do anything about it. There's lots of good dark comedy throughout this. I love his buddy in the movie. I like that he meets other black friends later, and he can tell that they're also in this place and they are unable to break free. It is a wild film. Really recommend this one. I'm sure most of you have seen Get Out. It won a lot of awards. It's been very highly praised over the years, and for good reason. It was just so different from anything else I'd ever seen in the horror space. And Peele would continue to impress and do things that are outside the norm, and I appreciate him for that, for sure. All right, well, there you have it. There's my list. Let's get back to the main frame. Looks like we have a couple super chats that came in, which is awesome. Christian Thacker, $1.99. Get Out is awesome. Love all of his work. Yeah. Right on, Christian. Jan Rose for $5. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Christian, by the way. Ouija, Origin of Evil, and Insidious are my top faves. Also, nice haircut, Adam. How's your day going? My day's going well. It's been very busy, but that's good. I'd rather it be busy than boring, and it's definitely not boring. Lindsay is, I think, I heard some noise. I don't know. Oh, it's my ice machine. I have to take a drink of Coke. My wife, Lindsay, is, I don't want to say obsessed, but she's got the bug for sure on Dreamlight Valley, which is a Disney game. She's just all in. She doesn't play games. Once in a while, she'll jump in Smash Brothers with us, play as Kirby, of course, and just get pissed off at the family for kicking her ass. But, Dreamlight Valley she likes because it's only a couple buttons. You talk with all the different Disney characters. You plant gardens, you build homes. It's all very laissez-faire. Do what you will, do what you please. So she's upstairs probably doing that. Funny thing is, a couple days ago, I went upstairs. It was like 11. Maybe it was last night. I don't know. Everything washes together. And she's passed out on the couch, the Switch controller on her lap. just drool on the side of the mouth, and the game is just froze. Yeah, it was like a top-down view of her character and Goofy acting like a dumbass. So I carry her into the bedroom, shut the game off. It was just hilarious. Like she's some frat kid who passed out. Pretty good stuff. That's what's happening in my life right now. I have not seen Ouija Origin of Evil. I think that's the sequel. Everybody says that movie's awesome, and everybody says the first Ouija is terrible. I do have to watch that. My son got his haircut today too. He thought he was so cool because while he was getting his haircut at Diesel Barbershop, they were playing I Know What You Did Last Summer on the TV next to him. And I didn't know this at the time, but he came over afterwards. He's like, "Yeah, I was watching a movie. A guy had a hook for a hand, and he was killing people. Pretty good. You know, he's trying to act all cool that he was watching this while he was getting his haircut. He's like, yeah, pretty good movie. I give it like a 7 out of 10. I was thinking, is it? I'm trying to guess what the movie is based on that, and the only one I could think with a hook for a hand was I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I said the names a couple times, like, is it I Know What You Did Last Summer? And he kept going, I don't think so. I don't think that's it. And then I'm describing it a little, and I go, okay, is there a pretty actress in there? He's like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, okay, how do I put this gently? Does she have big boobs? He goes, oh yeah. I'm like, yep, that's I Know What You Did Last Summer. that was all I could think to ask because I don't remember anything else about the movie. I remember the guy has the hook and he stabs people once in a while, and that's about it. Yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt. Shout out to Jennifer Love Hewitt. An absolute legend. King Cold, just in the nick of time. $2 super chat. You have a P.O. box, Adam. I do not have a P.O. box, King Cold. Nobody, I mean, Tony actually just, what a couple people have done is they just, like, Tony actually wanted me to cameo on his show coming up as a character. So he just Venmo'd me the money, and then I bought it off Amazon, and that was that. But I understand if you want to like do a fun secret shipment of something. I do not have a PO box. I should probably look into that. Yeah. If you're a Patreon or YouTube Join supporter, if you're on Patreon, King Cold, I think you might be on one of them. I don't know. Oh no, you'd have an icon next to your name if you're on YouTube. If you're on Patreon, just send me a message there and I can give you my address. That's not a big deal. Perm, $2 super chat. Support here and be sure to watch Point Break. Perm, it's on my list. It's on my list, Perm. I'm getting to it, okay? I'm getting to it. Thank you. We're in Halloween month right now. Point Break isn't really something that I think I'm going to be watching in October, but you know, November is wide open. Well, not a lot of Thanksgiving films in November. There's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and I consider Addams Family Values to be another Thanksgiving movie. Outside of that, what do we have? The new Eli Roth Thanksgiving, I guess. That's pretty much it, to my knowledge. Thank you, Perm. We'll waddle around for a couple more minutes just in case any more super chats come in. I actually am pretty excited about this. While I just sit around and wait for a couple more awkward minutes. Maybe I should say goodbye since this is going to be in podcast audio form. I could say goodbye. Thanks for watching and listening, friends, and hopefully I catch you next time. Okay, I say goodbye for the podcast. What a terrible goodbye. I just wanted to share this with you because I'm pretty excited about it. No big deal, but I got a that's a Mega Gengar Shiny. Now, if you're not a Pokemon Go player, like I imagine pretty much the majority of people watching, that's not going to mean anything to you. But to me, this is a big deal. I wanted a shiny Gengar for a while. Getting a Mega Gengar, that's pretty much a dream come true. I could call it a day. If I die tonight, yeah, I think I'm satisfied. I think I'm pretty satisfied with getting the Mega Gengar shiny. All right, and on that note, I guess I'll let it go. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the, of course, Patreon's YouTube Join members and for the super chats. They're always appreciated. If you want to support the channel but you're broke, hit subscribe if you're not. If you somehow showed up here and you listened to this whole rambling thing from a madman, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing. It's free. Also, it's free to just subscribe on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts or any podcasting service. I'm trying to build those numbers up so I can get those monetized so that we're stacking pennies. That's the goal, is to stack pennies up to one day find a way to afford Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5. That's really all I want now at this point, so that my son Connor can look up at his old man and say, you know what, Dad, you did it. You did this for me. Yeah, that's the dream. I think that's every father's dream. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a good night, and I will see you soon. Take care.